Hi, real chat. Can you both see and hear me? I'm over on Twitch now. Yeah. So you can do it. I mean, this is what I always tell people. When you pay rent, we all know this objectively, you're paying for your housing and you're paying your landlord. So you're paying more to rent than to own. We all know that. That's why landlords do it. They don't do it because they're nice people, right? They do it because they make money. So if you can get in and buy your own place, at first it might feel expensive, but the way rent continues to increase, it will become cheap very, very soon. So that's why my house now, I have friends paying $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment in LA, right? I have a 3-bedroom house, and it's because I bought it. Oh, Jamie, LGBTQ nation, Russian woman gets 18 months forced labor for writing gay K-pop fanfic. Well, some people deserve it. You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, those are the rules. Gay K-pop fanfic will do that to you. Gulag. Straight to the gulag. Okay, Mallory put everything on credit cards for a few months for your down payment. Refinance the next year. Paid off the credit cards with appreciation. Boom. Amazing. So smart. Yeah. Sorry. I think that's awesome. Yeah. If you can if you're not sure if you can ever afford to buy a house, I didn't think I'd ever be able to afford to buy one. Talk to a mortgage broker. This is what I always recommend. Not a lender. Not a regular lender. Not like we do house mortgages. Look up a mortgage broker specifically. They're not the lender. Their job is to find you a lender, and they're really good at finding people who will lend to you. What are the topics today? We don't know yet. We're just getting started. Yeah. You're going to book an astrology appointment with Madeline Hamilton, 15 followers. Yeah, my bots are really acting up. I was worried the babies in the LeftCom group chat were going to get scammed by the Pendleton bots. Maddlebot, Pendlebot. Bottlin, Pendlebot. Whatever. Okay. I have actual astrology bots are happening in the Burger Egg. Yes. Just yeast is a sensitive topic for me. But look, if I hadn't been denied the nutritional yeast, I never would have got 5 free sunscreens, 2 free necklaces, and 2 free pairs of sunglasses that you guys haven't even seen yet. The sunglasses are tripping me out. You can just get free shit. And as long as you are like, hey, I got free shit, it's cool. They're like, thanks. It's advertising. Good morning, Larry. I'm learning about how to advertise commodities. They're different sunscreens. The same company, but they do different things. And at first I was like, this is a scam. But then one of them I put on under my makeup and it made my skin look glowy and beautiful. But I can't remember which one. So now I gotta do 5 different ones to remember which one. Yes. You apologize if your name lends credibility to the potential realness of the MP astrology scam bots. No. No, he's fine. Look, the scam bots, they're on their hustle. I respect their autonomy, their agency. They're doing their thing. They're out scam botting the world. I want nothing but for success for them. Yes. Okay. The astrology wars. The party merger has been a big success. Yay. Exciting. Yeah, what are the updates going on with the Discord? Astrology wars are on. Yes. Discord's advancing. That's cool. What else? So, Gulag. Larry mods are great. Cool. Wait, your friend owns a witch shop and people impersonate them all the time asking people to give them money for readings. Oh my god. Wild. Get a money guy first, 100%. You don't know what you're doing. He does. My money guy was the one that called me the next year to refinance, also eliminated my PMI. Oh my god, amazing. I don't think my PMI can get eliminated because I did, what's it called? Loan. FHA. It's Juice's day on Larry's stream. Get your Juice caps on. Yes. Thank you, Kubashi. Are people who make scam bots lumpen proletarian? Oh, there's a question. I think yes. Unless they're like for Javier Becerra or Stom Tire out here in California. There can be billionaire scam bots. I guess they're not scam bots then, though. They're just bots. They're just regular bots. So the scam bots are lumpen proletariat. The regular bots are an agent of the bourgeoisie. That's what I think. Regular bot, bourgeois. Scam bot, lumpen. You know? Yes, me too, Car. I also have a lot of respect for the scam bot people. There was this period where all of the porn bots got purged from Twitter, and I have to say it felt a little more lonely over there. You know? The porn bots were really adding something to the culture of Twitter. Twitter had nothing culturally going on except for the porn bots for a while. I think ours has, Malrish. I should look into that. But the problem is that our interest rate was so low. I'm like, refinancing would be a nightmare now, so maybe it's not worth it. What about Twitch bots? Are there Twitch bots? Do we get Twitch bots in our chat? Uh-huh, exactly. Hegel's Big Dialect Girls knows what I'm talking about. Those are my girls. When I say I love women, I mean the porn bots of Twitter specifically. That is what I mean. Oh, your ex knows Twitter likes Republic, so every single person in our lives, because he's like... That's so cool. Do you remember when that politician was just liking all the porn? He didn't know either. Oh, it's so cool. And then Elon Musk made the likes private. Okay, Larry has a Twitch bot that's called G-String. It translates Korean and Mandarin, so much types in chat. Oh, it's so cool. It was exactly that, yes. Car says half my Twitch followers are weird bots, and I respect it. We respect the bot community. You know, we're here. We're gonna radicalize the bots too. Bring them on. Bring them over. Come on. We'll work with them. Calling a bot G-String was a choice. That's so true. So true. Twitter, not Twitch. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. G-String is also a trot. That does check out. Yeah. Yeah. As a Nigerian American, what was your take on the 419 scams? I'm cool so long as it's not me. Wait, what are the 419 scams? I need a refresh. What is that? The 419 scams. Oh, sarcasm, rating with a party of one. It's kind of cool. It's like an announcement for yourself. Hi, sarcasm. Okay, wait. Hi. Sorry, you guys. I forgot. I forgot you guys are here. I forgot I was on the phone. I was talking to the real chat, to the real stream. If you're not part of the real chat and the real stream, you should come over there. It's way more fun. It's way more fun. There's no sunscreen. I am warning you. There is zero sunscreen over there. But we have a good time. And we're going to talk about current events today. Today's Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the news. You can come join us, and we're going to get educated on what's going on in current events. What did we talk about yesterday? Yesterday we talked about Kenya. What was going on with Kenya. 135. Ooh, gotta get better. We also talked about... What was the news we talked about yesterday? I don't even remember. What was the news yesterday? My stream gulagged. That's so true. We talked about Honduras Gate. That's right. We did. We talked about Honduras Gate and Operation Condor. Oh my god. Oh no. That loser Kim. My hair is a more natural color. Thank you. Thank you, loser. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel not crazy. I feel just vindicated. That's what it is. Yeah, Honduras Gate. So it is hilarious on TikTok. The ignorance and audacity is astounding. It's so true. So if you guys want to come over and learn about the news, if you don't know what Honduras Gate is, for example, that could have been something you learned about yesterday. If you don't know the current political alignment of Kenya in the world and what that has to do with Donald Trump and politics, you could have learned that yesterday. You're missing out on stuff you could be learning. I have been loving doing the Twitch streams because we talk about current events. We spend 2 hours on it. It's a good little orientation for you to move through the world and understand what's happening and what's going on. So come join us over there if you would like to learn about politics. There was something I was going to talk to these people about, and I forgot what it was. Was it the Uyghurs? It was something. I get more people when I talk about like the Uyghurs and stuff, but you know, maybe it's not worth it. Yeah, something like that. Okay, wait. Fun little story for the poll is running. Eileen Wang resigns, will plead guilty to acting as Chinese agent. Oh, yes. Yeah, this was from our group chats. One of my favorite group chats. One of them talked about this. Make it clear's message in case you missed. I did miss. Thank you. Where is it? Make it clear. Oh, yeah. DM me on Instagram about Festa de Vante. Your ad is Pedro Conectado. Okay, yay. You sent the official Instagram related. Very happy to help you with any. Okay, yay. Thank you. My only concern is if I can afford the plane ticket. Right now, because of the war, plane tickets are really, really, really expensive, and I have zero savings right now because the economy. So that would be my only concern. So thank you though. I do really want to go, so I'm gonna try to figure out if I can. Okay. Oh, yes, the Nigerian prince scams. Yes. I totally remember the Nigerian prince scams. Okay, I think scam culture is so interesting. So I once did a podcast episode not about this type of scam, but about romance scams, which are similar. And it's a lot of people from places in the global south targeting people in the imperial core and the metropole. Do you guys know about this? So yeah, they basically target people that they perceive to be wealthy, and they try to scam them out of their life savings. It's a lot of elderly people, it's a lot of retired people, and it's really sad because a couple of things are happening here. Like, nobody is wrong, you know? The people in the global south are like, well, these people in the global north are rich, and they get rich while we get fucked. They're right, that's true. However, what they don't realize is that the money doesn't go as far in the United States. So while the people in the United States do have a better quality of life, certainly, a lot of these are elderly people who need their savings to pay for their end-of-life medical bills and not become homeless. So people in other countries don't realize that. Like, okay, yeah, but it costs you like $500,000 to get old and die in the United States. So I think it's a really interesting dynamic, the scam kind of culture from the global south to the global north, because you understand where everybody's coming from, and it's a byproduct, obviously, of imperialism. But I don't know, it's super fascinating. Nobody's even wrong. Thank you for the gifted sub, Rob. Thank you. Hi, Shinryu. Welcome. Hello. Okay, do we have people in here yet? Or should I try to convince these people to come over? Yes, scams thrive in capitalist inequality. Exactly. First time chat. Good first time chat. It was always very sad. Elderly people get, yep, very, very common. 170. Okay, I should probably take off this. Then people will come. I'm telling you, watch. No hair accessories. If you don't have hair accessories on, people coming. Right? It'll happen. Now watch. Yell. Boob and yell. Boob and yell. Okay. Bye, Virgo. Thank you for everything. Yeah, they'll come because I look nicer now. Not weird. They don't like it when you look weird. Over there. Even your baby lived Nigerian mind knew that the global north owes the global south. Exactly. And so it's like, yeah, nobody's even wrong. It's just sad all the way around. You're like, damn, capitalism is fucking everybody in totally different ways. You know? You had a credit scam. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it too, but I bet more people will come. Anybody notice that left comms are becoming more insufferable ultras of late? Yes. They're getting emboldened. They're finding each other on the internet is what's happening. And, like, the funny thing is that they have very bot-like responses to things, if you guys notice this. And I don't think they even know what the words they're saying mean. Like, you guys famously know about the left comm when I was reading Lenin, but it didn't say it was Lenin, and they said that I was peddling Menshevism. That one took me out. I'm like, this is literally Lenin. Okay. See, that was really, really fucking funny. We are gonna do a poll in a minute, though. I'm still on with Burger Reich, actually. Hold on. Let me get Burger Reich over there. Okay, hi. You guys, you're Burger Reich. So if you're left here, sorry I've been ignoring you. Very, very boring, I know. But you guys should come join us over on Twitch. I'm gonna hang up here, but Twitch is gonna be better. It's not like it is here. We actually talk about things. You're going to get a proper live stream. You're probably going to enjoy it more. Come join us over on Twitch. So my username on Twitch is the same. It's Madeline Pendleton, twitch.tv/Madeline Pendleton. And we're going to talk about current events and what's going on in the world. Join the Greater Fresno Project. Jess says yes. It's really, really interesting, informative, and there's a really good chat there. It's free. If you think you have to pay for Twitch, you don't. You can pay for Twitch, but you don't have to. There's a good sub-gifting community. On my stream in particular, people gift each other subs all the time, so you can get free subscriptions if you want as well. And it's a good time. I think you're going to enjoy it. So it's been ad-free for Jess. Okay, good, yay. So come on over. People are more sane, more rational. You might enjoy it. I'm going to hang up with you guys here. So if you want to actually talk to me about politics on stream, that's the place to do it. All right. Thank you, is dropping the link as well as reading materials. All right. I'm going to hang up. Bye. Oh, hi. You know, the thing is, to get people over here maximum, I have to start in the window yelling about politics, and then I gotta hard transition them over here. That's the process. The man walking up the driveway really threw me off my game. This is a problem. Yes, the mayor of Arcadia being charged with federal agents spreading Chinese communist propaganda. Yes, we're all very excited about it. Somebody sent the link in the chat. What is LeftCom? So we'll do a Q&A. Just a sec. Should we start the Q&A? How many of us are in here? How many people are in here? We got enough to get started? Old me ruin everything. We're free burger. 192 is not bad. What did I tell you? The hair. I told you. The hair. Shut up like 20 people. If you're in here, I know you. I know what you like. Huh? I know what you like. 203. See, there we go. 2 ends. Okay, now we're ready. So. So true, Mowers. Big Echo's here. We're good. So, hi everybody. Welcome to the stream. So if you're new here to the stream, we call it the Double Down. We double down on our politics in regards to the news. So the way the stream works is we do a general 10-minute Q&A where you can ask absolutely anything. I'll let you know when that starts. After that, you will get the chance to submit any news articles of interest. We will take the first 5 submissions we get, and then we will do a poll. We'll vote on which one we want to read, and we will read through it together. With the final 30 minutes of the stream, we will take a look at a country on the map and attempt to orient them geopolitically in comparison to other world powers to get an assessment of the current geopolitical tension and landscape going on the planet. See, that's going to be what we do today. So I think you'll like it. It'll be fun and informative. Hello, Only Slimes. I am about to start the timer for us to get 10 minutes of general Q&A going. And now. All right, so if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. Okay, Cara has a British news video update for during the poll. Okay, perfect, great. Virgo is not here today. Behavior Kobashi will ban you. What is LeftCom? So it's LeftCom with an M. It's a type of communist that calls himself a left communist, which basically means that they consider themselves a communist, but usually that they opposed Stalin-era USSR. It's basically a big psyop thing. It's people who have not unpacked a lot of the propaganda they've been taught about the USSR, so they still think Stalin is bad. You know, it is what it is. It can be a bit challenging though, because it's to maintain that belief system, it relies a lot on misinterpreting Marx and Engels and Lenin, and so it's quite frustrating to encounter it. I used to be LeftCom, so that's why I say that. Who was the independent artist you were referencing in your TikTok that I had their main account blocked? I don't know, but I left a comment on their alts. I wonder if anybody responded to it. If anybody responded to it, I'll be able to see and let you know. I think it's like MEB. No, that's one of our people. Not MEB. I like B. Bree, something like that. Let's see. The only way I would know is if somebody responded to it in my notifications, but I have 239 since the time I left that. And apparently nobody's replied, so yeah, I don't think I have a way to know. Maybe I'll find her again. It was crazy though. I was like, you're an op? I was gonna help you, and you're an op? What a jerk. Okay. Anyway. Okay, Dream Blunt Rotation can be anyone, political or not. Ian Sononius from the band Scene Creamers, The Makeup, Nation of Ulysses. That's a big one. Number 1. God. Who else do I really want? Oh, number 2, Leila Khalid, the Palestinian resistance fighter. I always looked up to her. That would be so cool to get to talk to her. Fred from the B-52s, I think, probably. Yeah. And you know what? Fuck it, we'll throw Ingalls in there. I actually think Ingalls would be interesting to talk to. I think Ingalls would have some really interesting ideas on family and queerness that I would like to talk to him about. Okay. So what else do we have? Favorite brand of car? Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, unfortunately, is Nazi affiliated, though. Real curse to like a Volkswagen. My current car is a Kia, and I do love being Team Kia. What do we think of Kashama Sawant? I don't know who Kashama Sawant is, so I'm not able to give good feedback on that. Did you miss mapping Poland on the campus and map? Kind of, but also kind of not. Poland is just Poland still. If you were here when it was Poland derogatory, it is still Poland derogatory. Yeah, the left comps think they're more left-wing than us, and they are not. That is very true. It's very frustrating. I'm sorry if I'm really far ahead of you guys. Yes, okay, make it clear. I do want to figure it out. I'm going to try to figure it out. So they call themselves left comms. I did. I called myself a left com. Yeah, I called myself that. I would have said that I was a general Marxist, but that the only ideology I ever read that I thought specifically had utility was Panachoic, because Panachoic was a left com, helped me set up the foundation for a worker collective. And I still do think that left com ideology can be beneficial in how to set up a worker collective under capitalism, but a worker collective is not going to save you from capitalism. Hi, Zay. Hello. No, don't lay on the computer. So yeah, I definitely did. Anarcho-communist, a left com. No, usually they consider themselves something different. Does anyone have any book recommendations you should start with? Yes, Mikalau. I have an entry-level reading list that is literally designed to turn you from a liberal into a communist. I actually updated it this morning about it. I shifted some things around. I think it flows a little bit better. So you can find that in my link tree. How can I reverse the Stalin propaganda? I'm a Marxist-Leninist, but you've yet to break this curse. So, again, I feel like if you look at my link tree for the entry-level reading list, you'll learn a lot. But basically, I think Grover Furr is a good place to start. The book Khrushchev Lied will explain to you how a lot of what you think Stalin did that was evil actually came from Khrushchev and this politically motivated thing. After that, Grover Furr was a historian from, I think he was from Montclair University, if I remember correctly. So he's an academic, and he writes specifically about the misrepresentation of Stalin in history. You looked and she deleted your comment? Shut up! That's really funny. Shameful, but she knows. She knows what she did. Asada Shakur would be great to talk to. Malrish, that's a good one. Asada Shakur would be really, really, really good. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up. I'm behind you guys. The hamster car? No, I have a Kia Niro. I love my car. Left com? The infantile disorder? Yep, I was one of those. I had an infantile disorder. To my credit, I was pretty immature and bratty. Kashama is in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, okay, good to know. Here's where I'm not crazy. A Trotskyist who was elected to Seattle City Council. Interesting. Left coms are purists who love to communism until it's put into practice. This is the thing, Kobashi, exactly. And eventually what I got to is I was like, what is the point of being a communist in theory? Who does that fucking help? That doesn't help shit. I don't want to be a communist in theory. I want to do something that works and helps people. China was really what took me from being a left com. And the thing is, it was through my work, through exposure to China's increasing rapid development and increased worker protections, all of the amazing growth that China has done since around 2008 in particular. That I learned from my job. And that's really what got me out of it and started moving me just towards, I'm a Marxist, you know. The baby from the Queen Never Cry meme? I don't know that meme. Show me the meme. You said Grover Furr? Okay. Yeah. I think my reading list is pretty good. Yeah. You know what? I should really add Grover Furr to the reading list while we're sitting here. Posadism? I don't think about Posadism. But my partner has a friend who's really into it. Which is funny. Business. It's a bad fucking year for business. I mean, it's just horrible. It's awful. You know, I would say last year was the second worst year for business that we've had in a long time. The first worst year was 2017. So we haven't really bounced back. So, you know, it's hard. It's bad. It's like that sometimes. So that's why I don't like running a business. So that's why I always was like, I don't enjoy this. I like stability and consistency. And high highs and low lows are very, very stressful for me. And that's what a lot of business is. Oh my gosh, you're meeting the Cuban ambassador in June. Mounters, that's amazing. Okay, cool. Grover Furr Max. I should add Grover Furr. I'm going to add Grover Furr before I forgot to my entry-level reading list. Because I think it's really coming along. Yeah. Do you guys think there's the Grover Furr Khrushchev PDF? I bet I can find it, huh? Oh, there it is. Internet Archive. My beloved. Okay, all right, there we go. And then, are we going to wait to publish the map until we're done filling it out? I think so. Scientists mysteriously dying. We did a whole episode about it. Big nothing burger. Very disappointing. Or we did a whole stream about it, really. How can I get to Cuba with a collective? See if there's anybody in your area doing it. I got invited, but I got invited from New York. I got invited from, I think, People's Forum. Oh my God, Rob, that's so cute. I wish I could have a necklace too. Oh, that's so cute. How would you convince a communist to go vegan? I try not to convince people to go vegan. I just say, look, if you're interested, let me know. I can tell you easy ways to do it. And I think that works better. Pick of Zay. Okay, yeah. I'm looking. Hegelsbeak Dialecticals. Is Julia in here? Did I miss Julia being in here? I love Julia. Oh, yes. Pick of Zay. Yes. She's so cute. Pick of Queen Never Cry. Okay. Zay is also... Hi, baby. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me... Screen share. Oh, I have to restart my capture. It's not showing up. Hold on. Okay. So, here is Zay. Here's the baby. It is the same face. Hi, Julia. Hi. Yay. Yeah, you did not miss the poll yet. I'm gonna add Khrushchev lied to my book list, my entry level. Learn the truth about socialist projects. I'm gonna put that under the USSR also. I've been doing it like this. We'll do that. Okay. Pretty good. We're in the Q&A. We're in the Q&A. You're in it. Grow Refer has been added to the entry level list. I really think I would love to do like a summer lesson plan on this list. I don't know if you could get through it all in time. Oh, that's a Q&A. But I would like to see how many liberals I could convert to communists with this list in this order. Because I think it'd be impossible to come out not a communist at the end of it. I really think so with my reading list. You know? But mock Zoomers. All right. Okay, everybody. Ooh. Julia, you're going to school for tailoring in September. Hire you at the Bourgeois Clothing Company. Okay. If we have money. We don't have any. We have no money. But if we do. That's awesome. I love that. Tailoring is so fun, too. You tried to make PJ pants in high school and you sewed the whole shut. Overachiever. You think you're starting to make TikToks? Melme, let me know if you do. I'll boost them. Yeah, I do think it is liberal detox program. I really think it. Have you, like, before we get into it, just to pat myself on the back a little bit, because I did make improvements. The first one is principles, to tell you what communism is, right? And then, Lord Oxium, thank you for gifting to Julia. On imperialism, teaches you about what the United States is up to around the world, makes you hate the United States. Then it makes you realize everything you think you know is a lie told you by the United States. Then it makes you understand that the United States' main goal and objective is making communism obsolete. Then I added in atrocity fabrication and its consequences. So on atrocity reporting, how all the horrible things you hear about places around the world are actually political theater used to advance the United States goals seen above. Fascism and capitalism, telling you the alternative is fascism. Neoliberalism, right? Somebody said they had a link to Invisible Doctrines PDF. Are you in here? If you do, maybe I can find it. Oh, it's up now. Oh my God, I found it. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to add it. I mean, it was cool that person told me it exists, though. And then from there, it teaches you about the National Endowment for Democracy, so you understand the mechanisms. And then I don't know of any good Marxist critiques or perspectives on sex work. Sex work is a hard one within the Marxist community. You're going to get a lot of varied perspectives on it. I think the perspective, we've talked about it on here, that has most utility is that it doesn't even begin to make sense about having a conversation about criminalizing sex work under capitalism. You know, it's like if you're focusing on criminalizing sex work under capitalism, you're just harming people whose material conditions are, by your own metric, very bad. If you think this is something people are forced into out of necessity only, then you are literally trying to create more material harm to people who are already material harmed. But there are some Marxists who don't agree with that. They're just like, you're continuing to allow the exploitation of women. So, you know, it's very, very, it's a tricky one in Marxism. So Iron Moon says, as a Marxist feminist, I support the abolition of the sex work industry. Yeah, people have very different outlets on it. The party I'm with, we support decriminalization under capitalism, and then with a movement to reassess it under socialism. But my whole thing is that I know a lot of sex workers who would still prefer to do sex work than other jobs, even if they had like any other job option available to them. I also know sex workers who do it purely out of survival and hate it and feel very exploited and harmed by the process. So it's challenging because people have very personal relationships with it. So I think my party, they're just kind of like, see what develops and changes the material conditions under socialism and reassess from there. If you have people who are like, no, I really want to do this with my life, it's super important, okay, we can assess like a Soviet of sex workers to basically make that call. Yeah, it shouldn't be something you're forced to do. Exactly. So it's a tricky one. We in the chat all love Raina Hendricks, who is pretty vocally a sex worker and a Marxist and talks about these things a lot. And I think that's a good person to hear talk about this. And Raina also is a very well-studied, principled Marxist. So it's delightful seeing Raina's perspectives on things. Yeah, we love Raina. Nia Olson, reading list with sex work, reading list. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, for me, I'm just like, you're never going to catch me doing anything that makes, people I know's lives harder. Like, and like a lot of my friends are sex workers. I know a lot of people who do sex work. So you couldn't catch me out here being like, Sesta Foster was good. Like my friends would have my head on a fucking pike, like something I don't like about Kamala Harris was Sesta Foster and how much I saw it cause very real material harm to people I know and care about. And also I talk about this a little bit in my book. I think that under capitalism, because the position of femininity has been so commodified, there are also a lot of fine lines between sex work and just the commodification of women that comes along with patriarchy that are very hard to work through. Like my grandmother couldn't have a bank account on her own unless she married a man. At a certain point, if you need to survive as a woman, up until the 70s, you needed to be in an intimate relationship with a man. So at what point is that sex work or is it not? At what point is you understanding that your husband makes more money than you, so it makes more sense for him to go to work and earn the pay, and you do the unpaid domestic labor, but the exchange is intimacy of some kind, romantic or otherwise. At what point did the lines get blurred between sex work and not sex work? At what point are you a sugar baby just a person in an age gap relationship with an older man who likes to spend more money on you? Like these kinds of things get a little tricky under capitalism to try to parse anyhow. That's how I always think about it. Yeah, sex work and disability politics also go hand in hand because under capitalism, a lot of disabled people, their only real option is sex work for consistent work, which is fascinating. I think the conversations about like, is it empowering or not? I think that's like lib shit. It's like, whose job's empowering? Your job shouldn't have to be empowering for you to be able to earn a living. I don't like buy into that. Like, it doesn't have to be empowering kind of vibe. What would a Marxist-Leninist view be on a legal immigration in a capitalist society? I only seem to criticize anti-immigration or offer actual aims that align with your version of Marxist-Leninism. So, it depends on where you are, right? So one of the unique material conditions in the United States is that we've always enjoyed a porous border with Mexico in particular, but only to our benefit. So in the United States, most Marxists here will not be in favor of strict immigration control because we already are extracting labor from immigrants constantly. So to us, immigrants represent an oppressed nationality basically within our borders. A lot of them are focused in Southern California and Central California in farm work. They actually have a geographic location. So we tend to treat them more like that they need full rights now because they have been a heavily exploited labor force. They're heavily exploited workers for us here in the United States. Other countries have different relationships, though. China obviously has stricter immigration, and we've talked about that before. The USSR, China, North Korea, they're stricter on immigration. Why? It's essentially a planned society, right? So they need to plan for who's there. They need to make sure they have enough resources for you, and they can only do that if they know within a reasonable range who's coming, who's going, how many people they need to account for. So, unique conditions everywhere and whatnot. I think that in the United States, where I live, our unique position is to be very, very invested in full rights for immigrants. because of the history of immigrants being used as a heavily exploited workforce. The most exploited laborers here. Yeah. Julia says in the DPRK's case, they're also blocked from having diplomatic relations with many countries, which is true. Foreigners do live in the DPRK. But yeah, it's not like me as an American, I can't even go there. So if I wanted to move there, that wouldn't even be like an option for me to consider, right? So, you know, a lot of Westerners don't understand that you can't just show up anywhere on the planet that you want. That for that to happen, two things have to happen. Your country has to agree to let you go there, and that country has to agree to let you come. We think about how travel embargoes, travel restrictions are part of the blockade against the DPRK. Many people from other countries can't even go there comfortably, let alone begin to think like, what if I moved here, etc. So that's true. A lot of their relationships with other countries are very adversely affected by the UN blockade. As Big Gakko said, out here in California, Ramsey Robinson, platform of full rights for immigrants. And that's our Marxist-Leninists running for office out here. So in California, to be Marxist-Leninist and not have a full platform for immigrants' rights would be insane, because we have a huge exploited immigrant labor class. They're vulnerable workers. Prince Curry says, truly, foreign laborers and incarcerated laborers, are the most exploited by the U.S. So how do we deal with borders post-capitalism? It would have to be different. I mean, it's true. Yeah. They are the most exploited laborers. And that is something capitalists enjoy. They know. They're aware of it. They know this. Donald Trump, for all his anti-immigrant rhetoric, is still exploiting immigrant laborers because they're a cheaper workforce. Oh my God, MEV, great. I can get Mexican citizenship and I can go to the DPRK. Win-win. Yeah, as Julia said, DPRK is still at war with the most powerful empire in the world. Where do you find sugar partners that actually want to sleep with you? Seeking. The United States has sent spies and hostile forces to DPRK. I mean, and a lot of people don't know this too. Like, they are still under constant military action. They are on the defense constantly. I think for a lot of people, the story about the Marines' botched operation that killed a bunch of fishermen off the coast of the DPRK, I think that was shocking for a lot of people. But that's the kind of shit we're doing all the time. Like, when South Korea tried to declare martial law and that whole thing happened and that guy ended up getting impeached in South Korea, one of the things he had tried to do was he was like fucking with the DPRK to try to provoke them into attacking, so he could use that as justification to declare martial law and basically have his political enemies in South Korea killed. But leading up to that means that South Korea was actively trying to do military and espionage action against the DPRK in very obvious and aggressive ways to provoke them into a fight, which is like crazy, you know. Kubashi, something to add to the DPRK reading list. Okay, hold it and I will add it later. I'm afraid to open it. He was buying fake DPRK army uniforms to try to fake it when they wouldn't give into it. And I mean, this is very sad. When you see the DPRK talking about how they had to finally add into their constitution that reunification is not the main goal, that they actually have to now view South Korea as a hostile foreign entity to them. That's heartbreaking. That is so fucking heartbreaking to realize, but they're not wrong. Look at the way South Korea has been acting as an American colony, as a vassal state towards them. It's heartbreaking and true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm permanently scarred. Yeah, it's literally only luck that Yoon Suk-yeol's coup ended with him being impeached, not like other Korean coup attempts with mass killings of protesters. Exactly. It is very lucky that happened like that. Yeah. No one believes it's not a Rickroll. It's so true. It has been like a month. Okay, so let's get into the news, shall we, everybody? We're a little late already. Yeah, no, Julia's right. Yes, it's... And the way that Korean people on both sides of the parallel are pitted against each other, are used as political pawns, to advance imperialist interests in the region is just really, really horrible. It's just so repulsive. And I think sometimes, because in the United States we position the Korean War as the North being versus the South, I think sometimes when they hear us say, like, South Korea is a capitalist dystopian hellhole, right? South Korea, it's illegal to say anything good about the North. All these horrible things that happen in South Korea. I think that the average person thinks that means we hate South Korean people or something. And sometimes people will be like, why did you ever talk about the destruction done to South Korea during the Korean War? And it's like, babe, I do. I talk about the destruction done to South Korea leading up to why the war started. We talk about the massacres. We talk about the genocide that occurred. We talk about the dictatorship. We talk about the slaughter. No communist thinks South Korea is to blame for what's happening on the Korean Peninsula. We recognize they are victims of Western imperialism as well, and they similarly are used as pawns. They are manipulated, and they are treated horribly by the imperialist powers. Oh, what was the story last year when the new prime minister was taking down the loudspeakers? Oh, because they, at the DMZ, they would play propaganda to each other across the DMZ, the South and the North. And then, yeah, they, like, took down their propaganda. Yeah, the atrocities in South Korea. Also America. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why South Korea is so reactionary. They killed and imprisoned all of the communists. Full stop. And that's what they were trying to do. That's why the United States was biding time. That's why they didn't want to have the reunification election. They were like, we need more time to kill all the communists before we can have the reunification election. The only people left were people who did not harbor left-wing political ambition of any kind, or people who were so terrified by watching their friends and family be brutally slaughtered by the Western-backed dictators, by the Western-controlled military apparatus. They were horrified into submission, right? Very, very sad. Very sad. So they are victims as well. Why doesn't the DPRK allow Squid Game to be watched if it's literally meant to be about the display of dystopian South Korean capitalism? They do. Jacob is tough. I think that's propaganda, maybe that you believe. In North Korea, they actually wrote, like, glowing reviews of Squid Game. They were like, Squid Game is a great example of the failures of capitalism. Yeah, they like Squid Game a lot, in North Korea. And contrary to what a lot of people think, they do have access to foreign media in the North. Just not media that makes light of imperialism, the imperialist horrors that were done to them by Japan, for example, or by the United States, or media that attempts to subvert their country and overthrow their country. Yeah, they have their own streaming service. I thought it was called Magnolia, but I think it's actually called something else, something similar, and I'm forgetting. Yeah, I'll do the poll myself. I can do it. It's okay. All right, so let's get into the news, everybody. I'm going to count down. I don't think the DPRK knows about 6-7. I'm going to count down, and when we're ready, if you have a news story you'd like us to discuss today, be able to link it. We've got some stuff to watch during the polls. 3, 2, 1, go. I already know what I want to talk about. If nobody has anything, I know what I want to talk about. Okay, Tob coming in. Zay's laying on the keyboard over here already. My throat is real scratchy from her. Little Kit. Okay, then we've got this one. Tribal resistance in the Everglades. Okay, cool. And then we've got... Oh, okay, rice ball basket coming in with one. Hello. Oh, no. I missed this. Hold on. Okay. Down news. Arcadia Mayor story. I'm so interested. You think DPRK knows? Maybe they know. All right, we got 5. We're done. We're done on Rex. All right. So let me show you guys our options. I know the mayor is very funny to me. Eurovision threatened by ISIS and Iran. We've got tribal resistance in the Everglades, potentially going to close Alligator Alcatraz. We have a Russian ship that sank near Spain may have been carrying nuclear reactors to North Korea. All 3 involved. Unless Spain sank them. Then Spain is no longer on her redemption arc. But if Spain was harboring their safe passage, she remains our problematic fave. Okay. Then we have, proceed to your story. Southern California mayor resigns, will plead guilty to acting as an agent for Chinese government. So cool. Oh, we have 2 of those. We actually have room for one more story. Does anybody have one more? Does anybody have one more news story they want to consider? Or should we just do 4? We're 291. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'll pull it. I think these 4 are pretty strong. Oh, we got one more. Thank you. Thank you, Astro Jules. Okay. We have, the U.S. war in Iran has cost around $29 billion. Just a friendly reminder. In the United States, the estimated cost to end homelessness or hunger for a year is $25 billion. So, we could have done that. But we didn't. We did this instead. We fucked ourselves in Iran instead. All right. I'm going to get the poll started here. And then as soon as the poll goes up, I'll ask you guys if there's any videos or content you want to watch while the poll goes. So hold off on that for a second while I get the poll going. My group chats are going off right now. Sorry. Ah. Okay. Content does not mean guidelines. Oh my god. I think it's because I said ISIS. I think it's because I said ISIS. There it is. They always say ISIS. I remember hearing about that. Okay. Who's got links to entertainment? All right. Ghost in This Hell has one coming through. I think, Car, if you had one, send one as well. We're going to start watching.
Activate per my last email. This lets me summon my 2 previous emails from the graveyard. Then, I'll activate the magic card CCing my manager. This will double the attack of all emails on my field. I activate my trap, team status. Do not disturb. This blocks all attacks for 2 turns. And next I'll play Meeting That Could Have Been an Email. This sends all cards on the field back to our hands. I activate per my last email.
For those of you who don't work in an office, Meeting That Could Have Been an Email goes hard. Okay, UK news during poll from Car. Remember to vote or gulag. The poll is up.
So you don't know whether the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer will be forced to resign, but you don't want to look like a thicky dum-dum in front of all your mates. Here's a quick rundown before you become the human equivalent of lemon and herb seasoning with a smattering of nuclear waste as well. So last week there were these things called the local elections across the UK. Now Mr Lemon and Herb's Labour Party didn't just do poo-poo, they did diarrhoea, dysentery, then died, because they lost 1,500 councillors across the whole country. That's because everyone either voted for the tighty-righties known as the Reform You Cretins, or the wind-powered wokies known as the Greens, with nationalist parties like Plaid Cymru in Wales and the SNP in Scotland also doing very well. Let's have a round of national anthems to celebrate. Basically, the local elections are the latest bin fire to add to the disaster volcano that is Keir Starmer's last 2 years in government, which has been characterised by trying to freeze pensioners to death, arrest pensioners to death, or appointing pals of paedophiles to the most prestigious public offices in the land, and then pretending you didn't know anything about it. What? So anyway, on Saturday, a backbench Labour MP called Catherine West, who nobody had ever heard of, said, "Right, everyone, stop being such a bunch of pussies. If you don't get rid of Mr Blandypants right now, I'm going to do it on Monday," which is today. This then caused a political bowel movement amongst the people who actually want to replace Keir Starmer. People like human teenage mutant Ninja Turtle Wes Streeting, who literally nobody likes. Get a grip, Wes. Iconic vaping amateur canoeist Angela Rayner, who accidentally uploaded a Rayner for Leadership website 6 months ago before having to take it down, oopsie, and who's currently being investigated by HMRC for not paying enough tax on her £800,000 flat in Hove. And then there's Andy Burnham, who's the current mayor of Manchester, who really wants to be the next PM, but isn't even an MP because sneaky Keir didn't let him run in the Gorton and Denton by-election a couple of months ago. So then some people were like, shit, maybe it needs to be Ed Miliband again. But then Keir Starmer said, wait, I'm going to do a really good speech on Monday. Give me another chance. And that speech sounded like this.
And this is a political challenge just as much as it's a policy challenge. Delivery is, of course, essential, but it's not sufficient on its own.
Basically, it was crap. But get this, stop being such a bunch of pussies. Catherine West agreed it was a crap speech, but then changed her mind and said, actually, I'm not going to challenge you, Keir, but you do have to go by September. To which presumably this group said, look who's being a pussy now. It's harder than it looks, isn't it, Catherine? So essentially what we're looking at here is a Prime Minister so bad he might survive because everyone else in the party is even worse, especially you, Wes, you deluded man. Also, I talk a lot about how shit our politicians are in my new book, which you can pre-order in my bio. So you don't know whether the British Prime Minister...
I love all the England updates. Everything I learn about England comes from this chat. Also, I always call you London's best gay. Is it I? IDNS best gay? Best gay, happy birthday. Best gay of undisclosed location, best gay. Happy birthday. London's best gay, it is. Okay, great. Happy birthday. And this is what every British person sounds like to me. Is this hard to understand for people? I think all of them sound like this. This is like Shaun of the Dead to me. Blaming Carver adding thicky dum dum and wind powered wokies. Wind powered wokies goes hard. I like it. Yeah, you have that exact. Yeah, that feels right to me. Okay, so from our poll for what to talk about, thank God. The Chinese infiltrating spy in Arcadia, California has been caught, and we are going to learn all about her. So let's get into it, everybody. The mayor of Arcadia, which I just want to say has the best thrift stores in Southern California. For those of you who don't know, Arcadia is a roughly 20-minute drive from my home, east on the 210. Well worth it. The Savers in Arcadia, while rife with labor violations and the exploitation of the workers there, puts out 10,000 new items every single day. So it's really a moral negotiation shopping there, a real issue. But they have a lot of good stuff. So if you're ever in the area, the Savers Arcadia, they did fire all of their workers and replace them with self-checkout stands when the workers started complaining a little too much. And I know because I used to be friends with the workers. But they put out 10,000 items a day, and secondhand clothing is important, so, you know, do what you will with it, okay? It's really, really good. Yeah, you're glad you told... Rob says that you're glad I said which highway, otherwise you would not have believed I was in LA. I know. That's an important part of our culture. I'm sharing my culture with you. I'm sharing my culture with you as an Angelino. You need to know which freeway you take to get to Arcadia from my house. The 210. The 210. That's what you take. So... very important to us, freeways to our people. Yes. So Arcadia's mayor, and Arcadia is also a little bougie. It's like a little bougie. It's not like super bougie, it's like a little bougie. So Arcadia mayor federally charged with acting as a legal agent of the People's Republic of China. Amazing. This is according to the Justice Department, who announced it yesterday. Eileen Wang, 58, of Arcadia, is charged via information with one count of acting in the United States as an illegal agent of a foreign government. In a related filing, Wang has agreed to plead guilty to the felony count, which comes with a statutory maximum sentence of 10 years in federal prison. Girl, what did you do? She's expected to make her initial appearance this afternoon in the United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles. She went yesterday. She's expected to plead guilty in the coming weeks. Wang was elected in November of 2022 to the Arcadia City Council, a 5-person governing body from which the mayor is selected on a rotating basis. That's actually pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting way of doing things. So in Arcadia, they vote for the city council, and the city council governs, and they rotate who is mayor that year from it. I live in Atwater Village. That's really fascinating as a system. I've never heard of that happening in the United States. I didn't realize that was happening here. Is LA where they have the $20 smoothies? At Erewhon, they have $20 smoothies. Yes, it is one grocery store that is unhinged that does have $20 smoothies here. Yes, it's true. I've been to the grocery store twice in my life. I've seen them with my own eyes. I can confirm they're there. Yeah, it's very alarming information. $20 for a smoothie. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. It's like this. It's like, this. Oh, here we go. So this one's $21, actually. The Malibu Mango Smoothie is $21. The Coconut Cloud is $20. The strawberry glaze skin smoothie, which I understand because I live in LA, that this is supposed to do something for your skin, but it makes it sound like you're drinking skin, like human skin is in there. Smoothflation is happening in Erewhon, everybody. Yes, this is a $20 raw farm strawberry smoothie. Look, the Tropical Lifeway smoothie is only $12, so you can get a deal. But the Perfect Amino Choco Revive by Gary Brecka is $21. You're Doing Amazing smoothie by Kris Jenner in collaboration with Erewhon, $22. $22. Is a skin smoothie just cum? First of all, how dare you fucking say that? Second of all, maybe. I think maybe. 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 Oh, this breaks your brain. How is this not brain rot? This is my home. This is my culture. I don't drink them, but people I know do. I know people who have Erewhon memberships. You pay money for an annual subscription to Erewhon. I know people who have it. I know 2 people who have it. 2 of them. Julia, this is very offensive to all of Los Angeles for you to not like my culture. So yeah, this is all the transplants has made the price go up. You've literally seen a $25 burrito? Really? Jesus. So I'll tell you about Erewhon, actually. Quick detour. Erewhon used to only exist on the west side, and it used to be just like this weird, like hippie kind of health food store. But something happened recently, and it started blowing up like in the past, I'm going to say 7 years, and they started putting them all over LA. So now they're on the east side of LA too, which is where I live. No, I don't live in the east side if you're from LA. You know, I live on northeast LA. So yeah, now it's like spread like a fungus, and it's become this very like lifestyle status type thing, I guess. I can't afford to shop like this. I spend $150 a month on my food. I'm very, very budget conscious. I used to know. This actually isn't my culture, but people I know do this. I know people who have good incomes and stuff, and they eat here regularly. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, they have really expensive strawberries. Yes. It's very fascinating. There's actually also this article somebody wrote about Erewhon. Where is it? No, give me more. There's more. There was this article that came out about it that was really interesting, that one of my coworkers had us listen to like a reading of it once. It was years ago though. And it's short for nowhere, backwards, is Erewhon, you know? Yeah, this is probably what old people in the United States think young people do with their money, and that's why they're complaining. Maybe, yeah, but it's just this one grocery store that's like comedic. Oh, this is it. Is this it? No, maybe not. Oh my god. The Parasites in Malibu. Stop that. I'm gonna find this because it is really fascinating. Is this it? Yes. In the 1960s, 2 macrobiotic enthusiasts started a health food sect beloved by hippies. Now it's the most culty grocery store in LA. I'm going to send this to you guys so you can read it if you want on your own time. It's very interesting. This is like LA culture though. Like to me, I would not shop at Erewhon, but I would carry an Erewhon tote bag because that's very funny. Do you know what I mean? That's like me wearing like a Northrop Grumman baseball hat and carrying an Erewhon tote bag. That's like peak comedy to me. Like when I say I'm an edgelord, that's what I'm talking about. So yes, this is like, you know, a thing, a vibe. It's a vibe. Erewhon to Aryan pipeline. it's a funnel, babe. They're falling into it. These are all the people who used to be vegan, but then gave it up, and now they're really into like bone marrow and unpasteurized milk. This is like the Erewhon crowd. I'm so happy I get to share Erewhon with you guys, that you guys didn't know about it. Yeah, it's Nowhere Backwards. Yeah. No, it's Nowhere Backwards. It's based on a story. There's like a book or like a short story. So I'm pretty sure this is... Yes. This is totally the story that we listened to. I think you guys should read this. It's very long. It's very interesting. If we have time, maybe we can get into it after. What about the $20 single strawberry, the plastic dome? Yeah, that's real. Yes. Oh my god, hi, welcome first time chat, Daria. Hi. Yeah, no, not German. Just nowhere backwards. Beef tallow. Yeah, they're beef tallow, unpasteurized milk people. Oh my god, tiniest boob, 85 streak. Wow. Yes. Okay, so if we have time, I'll let you guys know more about my culture as an Angelina. That's Erewhon. I am actually really mad though. I think I told you guys they put an Erewhon in Silver Lake, which I don't spend a lot of time in Silver Lake, but this is just like insult to injury for me. There used to be a scrap yard in Silver Lake that I like to go to a lot, like a salvage yard, architectural salvage, and I would go get like old doorknobs and like fixtures and things there for really cheap, like 10 cents each. And they got rid of that. Then they built an Erewhon, and then they made the old salvage yard, which I was really, really sad it disappeared, into a parking lot for the Erewhon, which was so fucking disrespectful to me. I'm like, you took the one thing from me I loved in this neighborhood, and you turned it into a fucking Erewhon parking lot? Like, that is so mean. So, you know, are they just clowning rich people? Kind of, but they also are rich people. Like, they're kook balls. They're rich kooks. Yeah, it was very, very sad. Are you a class trader? No, you're not. And this is the thing, places like this, they don't actually exist to serve the rich. And I know this because I used to work for a designer jewelry company that sold like $30,000 necklaces. Your target customer is not actually rich people. Your target customer is working class people who are aspirational, who want to feel like they did something by buying something out of their price point. And that's the same marketing technique that Erewhon does. It markets itself like a luxury brand, but for luxury brands, their bread and butter customer is not rich people. It's average everyday workers who want to know what it would feel like to be rich. They paved paradise and they put up an Erewhon parking lot. Yep. Yeah, Gelson's prices are also wild. I used to be a personal assistant for a woman who lived across the street from the Gelsons in Silver Lake. So she lived, if you're in LA, she lived behind the postal works right there. So I would go to that Gelson's for lunch sometimes. It was very, very expensive. Yeah. Oh my God. Antifa groupie. You'd never heard of Erewhon before the stream. Well, now you know. Now, if you ever meet somebody from LA, you can speak to us like you know. Which highway is nearby? The 5 and the 2 on-ramp. It's near the 5 on-ramp. Yeah. You'll know. It's for the petit bourgeois. Maybe not even that. Can I pin the article? Do you want the article about our comrade, our Arcadian comrade, or do you want the article about Erewhon? We got off course with the Erewhon thing. Yeah, I'll give it to you again. Hold on. I'll pin the Erewhon. I'll pin it all. I'll do it all. Can you resume the person on TikTok? They're saying you can't be trans and a Marxist, or that trans people wouldn't exist under communism. Yeah, because they said something about like, oh, it was so wild. They said I saw somebody talking about it. I saw a Marxist talking about it, a trans Marxist talking about it, being like, what? And weren't they basically saying like because transitioning is material, which like not necessarily for everybody isn't material, right? You know, it can manifest. I guess whatever. Negotiable, debatable, based on how you're talking about this. But still, it's like, I don't think they understand what materialism is from a Marxist standpoint. And that's why they were saying that. Like, babe, Marxism's all about your material conditions. It's all about giving you the material things you need to live a good life. It's crazy. Yeah, improving your material existence is bourgeois. It was very, very weird. Yes, it was materialistic to transition. Yes. I remember just being like, what? Like, okay, so if it is, which like, you know, look, there are plenty of trans people who have not transitioned yet. Like, whatever your journey with your gender, that's fine. It's valid. It's good. It's fine. But even if for you, your gender experience with transitioning is very material, you would want the system that supports your material reality the best. Like that understands that your life is shaped by your material reality. Like, what does that even fucking mean? That's crazy. It's crazy. You asked a similar question when you first came out. Now it makes sense. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, a lot of trans people are not interested in medical transition at all. Yeah. Or might be in the future, but not right now. You know, like for me, I'm like, oh, I can't say for certain that that's not something I'll ever want. I could see that being something I might want at some point in my life. I don't want it right now, but it doesn't, you know, whatever. So for me, it's not super material right now. It might be in the future. For some people, though, it is very material. But for the people for whom it is material, that's why you need a political and economic system that's concerned about your material reality. Quite literally, that is why. That is why you need communism. And there are all these reasons why, when you go to communist spaces, trans people are disproportionately represented. If you're a trans person, you are more likely to be a communist than a cis person is. Just like if you are an ethnic minority in a region, you're more likely to be a communist than the ethnic majority in the region is. Like, these things are all true. Also, people would still have gender dysphoria, definitely. I mean, I don't know. It's just very weird. Thank you for the gifted subs. It's very expensive for a lot of people to physically transition. Exactly. But, like, now imagine that you live in a place where it's just considered a basic part of your healthcare. Like, that's, like, what the Vote Socialist campaign we're running for. When people are like, well, what's, like, your program for trans liberation? You know, we say the things that we've talked about here. We say our program for trans liberation is give everybody free housing. Give everybody a right to an income and a job. Give everybody free healthcare, including gender-affirming care. Like, you do all that, like, you're helping the trans community so much more than, what, a fucking, Raytheon aircraft with a pride sticker on it. Like, I don't understand the liberal, the capitalist approach to helping trans people. But I think it really does sound like that person did not understand materialism in the Marxist sense, and that's why they're saying stuff like that. Oh, Cassie Pritchard. Oh, yeah. She's she's like, if you guys aren't Twitter pilled, she is like one of those people who calls herself a leftist, but is just super lib-pilled and is always having the weirdest takes that end up supporting empire in, like, most fucked up ways ever. The Klan's femme said, yes. It's impossible, IMO, to be trans and not be a communist once you learn about the hurdles of the healthcare system. Exactly. Like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's wild. Okay, so, rad lib. You're Twitter pilled. Larry's Twitter pilled. I haven't been on Twitter in a few weeks. It's feeling pretty good. All she does is scold other leftists. Yeah, I got into a couple fights with her. At first, I was like, why is everybody so weird at Cassie Pritchard? And then she started coming for me. And I was like, oh my god, I see why everybody fucking hates you. Like, you're insufferable. And wrong. And she's always wrong, which is crazy. Why are you attacking people and doing it wrong? Like, if you're going to be wrong, just stay in your corner of the internet. Don't rope other people into your wrong shit. It's so weird. Oh. Very, very wild. Oh, trans woman defense contractor. Exactly. That took me out. I loved that, though. That was fantastic. In my experience, trans people are either the most principled, amazing communists I've ever met, or NATO-esque liberals who push it like gay rights are non-negotiable while supporting the invasion of other countries. I mean, that's everybody, though, right? I mean, like, you talk about, like, women. Like, women can be some of the most amazing organizers in spaces they've ever been in. And then you get this, like, liberal brand of lean-in feminist that's like, Hillary Clinton would have girl-bossed her way into the Iran war. And you're like, what the fuck are you saying, you psycho? Like, stop talking. Like, what? And this can happen all the time, you know? It's very interesting. Oh, Julia, that's so cool. I love that. Okay, wait, let's get into the news. Let's get into our we got derailed, but let's get into our Chinese spy secret agent queen in Arcadia. Now that you have the lay of the land, this is what was important. Now you understand LA. You understand what an Erewhon is. You understand the 210 connects the land of the Erewhon to the land of Arcadia, which has the nice thrift stores that thrive on labor exploitation. More than most stores do, actually. You understand that it is a semi-affluent suburban region just 20 minutes outside of Erewhon to Tenville. That is LA. You've got the lay of the land. So really, I was just giving you the necessary context for you to properly understand the story about our secret agent undercover Chinese spy. The 210 trade route, delivering the Erewhon smoothies via the exploited gig Uber Eats workers to, back here, over here we go, the Arcadia City Council, a 5-person governing body from which the mayor is selected on a rotating basis. I think that Eileen Wang has door-dashed an Erewhon smoothie to Arcadia before. I think that seems plausible, okay? Well, that is interesting, Manticore. So, individuals in our country who covertly do the bidding of foreign governments undermine our democracy, said First Assistant United States Attorney Bill Eileen. This plea agreement is the latest success in our determination to defend the homeland against China's efforts to corrupt our institution. Individuals elected to public office in the United States should act only for the people of the United States that they represent, said Assistant Attorney General for National Security John A. Eisenberg. Well, joke's on you, babe. The people yearn for Chinese communism. It is deeply concerning that someone who previously received and executed directives from PRC government officials is now in a position of public trust at all. I need to understand what she was doing. But particularly so because the relationship with that foreign government has never been disclosed. By her own admission, Eileen Wang secretly served the interests of the Chinese government. At Arcadia, California. I'm sorry, the Chinese government does not give a fuck about Arcadia, California. And this is according to Assistant Director Roman Rojavsky of the FBI's Counterintelligence and Espionage Division. Let this serve as a clear warning. Individuals who act on behalf of foreign governments to influence our democracy will be identified, investigated, and brought to justice. Protecting the rule of law and transparency of our democratic process remains at the core of the FBI's mission, and we will continue working alongside our partners to safeguard the integrity of our elections and keep hostile actors from undermining the voice of the American people. All Americans should be alarmed to learn an elected official was brazenly spreading propaganda on behalf of the Chinese government. Okay, so that's what they're saying she did. This is according to Patrick Grandy, the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office. The FBI is dedicated to rooting out those illegally acting as agents of a foreign government as they do the bidding of America's adversaries. Do we think this is happening because of the TikTok videos of people asking Chairman Mao for help from the afterlife? Maybe. Ghost in this House says, yeah, they're not if they're acting in the interest of Israel. No, yeah, like, what? You literally take lobbying money from the Cuban American group, right? CANF, from AIPAC, from here in California, JPAC, which is our California version of AIPAC, to serve Israel. Like, what are you fucking talking about? We literally made doing the bidding of foreign governments part of our, like, federal political process. Reagan formalized this with the UCCA and Ukrainian nationalists back in the 80s. Like, why are they acting like this is not a thing? This is so crazy. But because it's China, obviously. China bad. So wild. So according to her plea agreement from late 20 through 2022, Wang and Yaoning Mike Sun, 65 of Chino Hills, worked at the direction and control of PRC government officials and coordinated with U.S.-based individuals to promote the PRC's interests by, among other things, promoting PRC propaganda in the United States. I find this really hard to believe. I'm sorry, like, I don't believe this. I wonder why she's pleading guilty to it. This is crazy. This does not sound real at all to me. I'm like, what do they have on this woman to force her to say she did it? Sun is serving a 4-year federal prison sentence after he pleaded guilty in October 2025 to acting as an illegal agent of a foreign government. So it's both of them. Wang and Sun worked together to operate U.S. News Center, a website that purported to be a news source for the local Chinese American community. Wang and Sun received and executed directives from PRC government officials to post pro-PRC content on the website. This is what the National Endowment for Democracy does in every single country around the world. So they ran a Chinese news website and China sent them news briefs? That is just free speech. That is literally also what the National Endowment for Democracy does in every single country on the planet. We give people grants to promote a pro-Western ideology. This is wild. Okay, this makes sense. So it's literally just, they had a Chinese American news website and people from the Chinese government sent them news stories. Okay. So in June of 2021, a PRC official contacted Wang and other individuals via the WeChat encrypted messaging application with pre-written news articles, including a PRC official written essay in the LA Times that stated, China's stance on the Xinjiang issue. There is no genocide in Xinjiang. There is no such thing as forced labor and any production activity, including cotton production. They literally say it's China's stance on the issue. They say this is what China says. Spreading such rumor to defame China, destroy Xinjiang safety and stability, weaken local economy, suppress China's development. Yeah, I mean, but they said that was China's perspective, so China's not allowed to say its perspective within our borders. This is crazy, actually. Yeah, the U.S. does not get to talk about forced labor, as Julia said. We are enslaving mostly Black and brown Americans in prisons as we speak. This is wild. 2 dudes recently got arrested, Trans Fox Girl 1312, in the UK on suspicion of spying for China. Damn. Yeah, this is wild. Hi, Kobashi, welcome back. Minutes later, Wang posted the article on her own website and responded to the PRC official with a link to her article on her website. Others in the group chat did the same. The PRC official responded, so fast, thank you everyone. In August 2021, Wang and 3 other members of the same group chat shared links to the same article on their respective news websites, after which the PRC official thanked them for their reporting. At the PRC's official request, Wang made edits to the article, sent the official a link to the article reflecting the requested change, then sent the official a screenshot showing the article had been viewed 15,000 times. In response, the official messaged, great. Wang replied, thank you, leader. I fuck with her. In November 2021, Wang communicated with John Chad, a high-level member of the PRC intelligence apparatus who regularly attended elite Chinese Communist Party functions. Cool. Including a military parade, and met personally with PRC President Xi Jinping, according to court documents. Wang asked Chen to post a news article from her website and wrote, this is what Ministry of Foreign Affairs wants to send. Chen was sentenced in November 2024 to 20 months in federal prison after pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York to acting as an illegal agent of the PRC. What is illegal about this? And conspiracy to bribe a public official. How is this illegal? What? Oh my god. We're reading Kobashi, this woman in a suburb of LA who was the mayor, pleaded guilty to basically being a spy for China. But really, she just had a Chinese American news website, and people from China would send her news articles to share on her website, and she would share them. But the news articles even were like, here is what China's position is on this. So like she disclosed that it was China's position even. It's wild. Yeah, if it was Ukraine, it'd be fine. It'd be encouraged. Did you miss where she tried bribing somebody? I didn't see her bribe anybody. No, because this is Chen. This is John Chen, who was somebody that she communicated with, so not her. So Wang admitted in her plea agreement she did not notify the Attorney General that she was acting in the United States as an agent of the PRC, what a stretch, that she was located in the United States when she engaged in these acts, and that she did not disclose on her website that some of the content had been posted at the direction of members of the PRC government. Is it a direction or is it a request? I'm just going to say, if the PRC was ever like, hey, post this, I would not be like, they directed me to. I'd be like, bet. I agree with you. I will. So, like, how do they know it was at the direction or behest versus just, like, she fucked with it and agreed, right? So this is what, too, when liberals are like, oh, but communism, there's no free speech. This lady literally could not say nice things about China. She got arrested for saying nice things about China. For having the same perspective on political events that China has, she was locked up. See, Welbs, this charge would stick if you looked at my repost. Yeah, this is what I mean. This is crazy because for all the libs always saying like, oh, I'm paid by Russia, I'm paid by North Korea, I'm paid by China, whatever. Less about China now. They could literally, if I had ever talked to a person who worked for the Chinese government, they could do this to me, right? Didn't Henry Kissinger and Nixon do the same thing? Yes. The entire function of the National Endowment for Democracy is to do this. They give grants to people in other countries to publish pro-Western, pro-American content there. All of the North Korean defector stories, that's usually Ned funded. That's what we're doing. We're literally doing that same thing. Marxist Gamer Zero says my Reddit post history would land me in jail. Yeah, but Ned is an NGO, so they're immune. Exactly. That's the thing. They get all their funding from Congress. They were staffed originally fully with CIA members. Doesn't matter, because technically they're a non-governmental organization. So where China really fucked up is not creating a shell corporation that was funneling money from the Chinese government into it. Her husband's already serving a 4-year sentence. Yep. From October of 2025. Yeah, how do you become a spy for China? Do you just email somebody? Yes. The FBI is investigating the matter. Assistant United States Attorney Amanda B. Elbajan of the National Security Division is prosecuting the case with assistance from trial attorney Garrett Coyle of the Counterintelligence and Export Control Section of the Department of Justice's National Security Division. Okay, what was her name of her fucking website again? I need to see it. U.S. News Center. Do you think it's still up? This is crazy. I don't think it's up anymore. Do you guys think it's up? They probably took it down. The FBI probably took it down. But I don't know the URL. You know? What's the URL? Maybe something trashy you'll know for us. 10-stream streak. Hi. Bye, Sarcasm. She's so cute. This was the group chat I was in. Everybody was like, I love her.
The Constitution of the United States.
Video shows 58-year-old Eileen Wang being sworn in as mayor of Arcadia earlier this year.
It is truly an honor and a humbling privilege to stand before you.
But just months later, Wang stepped down from the position amid growing controversy tied to a federal investigation. The FBI accusing Wang of spreading propaganda on behalf of the Chinese government. Federal prosecutors say Wang has agreed to plead guilty to one felony count of acting in the United States as an illegal agent of a foreign government.
The charges she's facing are very serious. She could be sent to prison for up to 10 years.
Legal analyst Royal Oakes says the charges stem from allegations Wang was not fully transparent with federal authorities.
The key here is her failure to disclose her connection with the government of China. The allegation is that she was really acting at their direction. She was their agent. And whether she's stealing nuclear secrets or just posting editorials,
Hi, Constant Gardner.
The fact is, without registering as an agent, she's breaking federal law.
Wang was elected to the Arcadia City Council in 2022. There's a 5-person council with the role of mayor rotating among the members. The allegations against Wang involve conduct before she was elected. The city of Arcadia released a statement saying in part, "We want to be clear, this investigation concerns individual conduct, and the charges are for conduct that ceased after Ms. Wang was sworn into office in December 2022. Following an internal review, we can confirm no city finances, staff, or decision-making processes were involved." Going on to say the remainder of the city council is not under investigation and city operations continue without interruption. The charges against Wang come after her fiancé, 65-year-old Yao Ning Mike, son of Chino Hills, was arrested in 2024 and was sentenced to 4 years in prison for acting as an illegal agent of China. According to investigators, the two worked together from 2020 to 2022.
Okay, chat's going so off that there's so much good shit to talk about in here. How could she steal nuclear secrets as the mayor of Arcadia? Like, a great question. Why would China need American nuclear secrets? Another great question from the chat. Because it's the United States, I feel like this is somehow also racist. It probably is. Yes. Julia says they hate to see an Asian woman winning. They do. This is crazy. Yeah, this is just nonsense paranoia. Exactly. It's Red Scare bullshit. It's Red Scare bullshit. Okay, so yeah, somebody said you could just search it on archive.org, so we're going to look too. It's U.S. News Center. It's unfortunately one of those really generic names, but let's watch the last few seconds of this.
Together that provided news to the Chinese American community at the direction and control of the People's Republic of China. Wang's lawyer released a statement on her behalf, saying in part, "Events in Miss Wang's personal life, including her trust and love for apparently the wrong person who ultimately led her astray, require her to step away from public service." Going on to say, she apologizes and is sorry for the mistakes she has made in her personal life. Her love and devotion for the Arcadia community have not changed and did not waver.
Okay, so a chatter clarified. He didn't say she stole nuclear secrets, but he was like, what if she did? It's like she stole nuclear secrets. You can't have these Asian people running around knowing things. What if they go talk to their Asia homeland? This is literally the whole vibe of this story. The story is so insane. Yeah, we have a very fucking weird country here. That is so true. So wait, let's look on archive.org to see if we can find this. Oh no, I can't search for you on you. It'll break the internet. Let's see what comes up here. Salem County, exactly. It's just Red Scare bullshit. I mean, look, the more popular communism and socialism continue to get, which they are getting more popular, right? The more we're going to see shit like this. They're going to start getting so desperate, they're going to start trying to shut down everything. It's going to be like USSR era. She is more based than Zoran. She's so much more based than Zoran, unironically. Okay, U.S. Navy. No. God, the name is just so generic. I wonder if I, like, search anything with China involved. Newswatch. No. Truth Out. Huh. Yeah, nobody's allowed to support China anymore, apparently. I'm still not finding it. Did anybody else manage to find it? These massive websites just been, like, scrubbed from the internet somehow. I wonder if this has anything to do with why they were also trying to come for Internet Archive. Oh, Fed posting is when you say, like, you're gonna do something illegal. Or, like, we're going to do something illegal. Anything that would, like, allow the federal government to have a verifiable reason to investigate, like, anybody. Something like that. Yeah. This is just wild, wild shit. Okay. So, we love our Chinese spy icon. We love her so much. She is unironically more based than, like, any left comm in the USA. What's her name again? Eileen Wang. Eileen Wang, the icon. She's so cute. Free her. Free Eileen. Seriously. Wow. I'm so mad. It's so unfair. You don't think the website exists? I've looked everywhere. I mean, not everywhere. I looked for 37 seconds and it did not come up. Suspicious. Yeah, when Libs asks, so what have you done? What are you doing for advancing the revolution? Yeah, that's why you're not supposed to say anything. I usually just say, I think you should join a revolutionary socialist org. I think you should join a socialist org near you. That's it. Yeah. Vigorous research for 37 seconds has been done and turned up nothing, so I'm deciding it's a conspiracy. Come on, Eileen. We love her. We love her. Okay. So, look, we got a few minutes. Now, as a special treat, do you guys want to read a little bit of the Erewhon story to go along with we're LA maxing today. We're Los Angeles maxing. We're Northeast Side maxing. Look, Glendale, California is about to get its own Erewhon. That's roughly 7 minutes closer to Arcadia than I am even. We could be having a whole LA moment. And that requires us looking at the cut story on Erewhon history. I think we got to do it. You guys, I'm really bringing you into my world. We'll do Fresno maxing at a later date. This is all LA maxing, baby. We've got the Chinese Communist Party operating out of Arcadia, California, home to the best thrift store in Southern California. LA was one of the worst places you've ever visited. Come back, Julia. Come back. I can make you love LA. I can make you love LA. It's great. This could have been an email from Erewhon. I'm telling you, I'll come back. The actual thing about LA that's really funny is that LA itself is just like an intensely working class average town. I guess it's a lot like Vegas. If you've been to Vegas, there's like the spectacle Vegas, but then there's just like the town of Vegas, and it's very much like that. So the actual like town of LA is great. I think it's fun. I like it. You were in K-Town, LA. I love K-Town. I lived there for years. And when I lived in K-Town, I didn't have to have a car. I just took the train everywhere, and it was awesome. They have great Korean food. Yeah. I mean, K-Town's awesome. It's the best place. LA will become Southern Fresno when it starts. And you will know when it starts, as I'm reminding you. You will know. Multiple cities crammed to the edge together. Yeah, exactly. It's too old for Twitch side. It's like a lot of smaller cities just next to each other. Yeah. So, okay, let's get into the cult of Erewhon. So, this Erewhon type phenomenon, this is somebody's LA experience, but this is not my LA experience. Like I said, I know people will go here sometimes. But this is like what people think of as being LA. This is when somebody moves to LA from somewhere else. This is the kind of experience they're looking for. And this is really like juxtaposed with like the actual reality of Los Angeles in a major way. Because like I said, actual LA, aggressively working class, people take the bus, people live in studio apartments. Like, it's just a very normal place. People work at Home Depot. You know what I mean? Like, it's not super fancy a lot of the time. And most people who are really fancy, the experience you think of as being LA, those people don't live in LA city limits. They usually live in places like an hour and a half outside of LA, in enclaves of other rich people. Hidden Hills, for example. A lot of rich people live in Hidden Hills. That's not even in LA. So I think that's like good context to have. So something about Erewhon that started appealing to people, I think, is the fantasy idea of LA. I think this is a place, if you're not from LA, this is what you think LA is. And I think that's why it stopped being this niche, like, overpriced hippie health food store and became this symbolic kind of thing. This idea of decadence of Los Angeles that isn't actually our culture, which is interesting. What if the Grove were a grocery store? Exactly. Thank you, Steely Dan Halen. And for those great username. For those of you who don't know, the Grove is like, it's an outdoor mall, but it's made to look like a fake little town that doesn't exist. It's very fantasy based. By Lady Frags. So we should talk about the Russian ship, you think? We'll do a little bit of this, and then maybe we can talk about the Russian ship tomorrow, because we do have to still make time for our camp map, you know? Yes, it's just mythos. So, this story starts, it's 9:30 a.m. on a Wednesday in Pasadena. Pasadena is like right in between where I live and Arcadia, where our communist princess Eileen Wang lives. And it ought to be a sleepy morning on South Lake. There beside the Macy's and TJ Maxx and Ross Dress for Less and various other retail establishments one might reasonably have thought had gone bankrupt. But more than 300 people have swarmed the sidewalk, and many have been milling for hours. They were drawn here by the promise of what passes at Erewhon for a deal. The secular privilege of spending $200 on groceries to receive, in turn, a tote bag full of on-brand Erewhon goods. Dragon fruit rose pick-me-up beauty water, 2 kinds of avocado oil, beekeeper's immune spray, alongside the immeasurable spiritual privilege of being among the first inside the 10th location of America's buzziest grocery store. There's a ribbon to be cut, though the threshold has already been crossed. Last night, Erewhon summoned 400 influencers through sliding glass doors. Those influencers have already posted their Get Ready With Me TikToks. I feel so grateful and blessed to have been invited to this. Attended the launch, gone home, set up their cameras across their full goodie bags, and posted their hauls. Our new Erewhon hats? How cute. Literally so cute. We love. At the grand opening, which follows the influencer event and precedes a wellness event, there are, at any given time, several people walking the sidewalk and filming the line on their phones. There's a man holding up his phone and spinning for an aerial view of other people waiting. The very first shopper, Kathleen O'Haran, snagged her place at 5:30 and will have waited for 4.5 hours to get in. Oh, sorry. Screen share. Sorry. Why? I ask her. Great question, she says. Content. The goal of posting and healing work in tandem. O'Haran had been diagnosed with cardiospasm, and trips to Erewhon had helped her. Another woman online, a mother, online, you can tell this was written by a New Yorker. We don't say this in LA. Another woman online. We say in the line. So another woman online, a mother, tells me clean eating cured her son's eczema. Inside there will be 20,000 square feet of beautifully lit product, an open kitchen buzzing with black uniformed cooks, and more lines. The tonic bar line runs 20 minutes, then 20 minutes more to get your smoothie. The outside is fucking arsler. I don't say the arsler, so I'm not going to say that. I hear a man say. But in order to be in the store at all, he must have made the effort to arrive hours early. Oh yeah, his sentiment is not widely shared. For the most part, today and all days, the lines at Erewhon partake of an astonishing calm, as if everyone is a touch high. A 50-something woman in giant Celine sunglasses carrying a quilted bag that says, "Give a damn," holds out a $52 candle to a much taller woman, a stranger also in line, to catch the scent of citrus. "I love this," she says amiably. "You're in line, and you're lucky to be there. You're in line, but there's no rush. You cannot really expect your $18 Hailey Bieber strawberry glazed skin smoothie to come quickly, and no one does." When you think so LA, Erewhon smoothies, Barbie pink sunsets, and baristas with IMDb credits might come to mind, reports the Los Angeles Times, casually privileging the pantheon of California icons, a grocery store's juice bar over Hollywood in the sun. The store will do, this week, $1 million in sales. A woman tells me she moved from Harlem to LA for Erewhon. A professor friend calls it a central part of my LA existence. Whole Foods is copying us now, an employee says. Something has been worked out here, some mystery solved in the 57 years since Erewhon came into being. And again, so this is an old hippie grocery store. Just in the past, like I said, 7 years or so, it's started to blow up everywhere. Someone has seen past what we say we want to whatever it is we will actually buy. A process of discovery that began with Japanese utopians and progressed to $40 jars of sea moss gel sourced from the pristine waters of St. Lucia, sincerely said to strengthen bones and blood. Now, there is a Marxist assessment in here. I want you guys to know there's a Marxist assessment in here. There is an idea of utopianism in here that I think is very interesting. You are meant to believe genuinely in the sea gel's powers. Erewhon is a deadly earnest place. And yet, the one thing I've done today, said Stradio Lab podcast host George Severus upon landing in LA, is gone to Erewhon as a bit to get a $13 smoothie. So remember when I said this is something like people travel to LA thinking it's LA culture, but it's like not actually LA. LA culture is like a lot of immigrants from Latin America taking the bus to work like minimum wage jobs. Like that's LA culture to me, right? So, Erewhon does not participate in, but will knowingly profit from the bit. The bit involves a TikTok genre premised entirely on the store's excesses. What's your net worth? $500,000? Whole Foods is that way. We see them filming, says CEO Tony Antochi, unbothered. Your LA friends will roll their eyes, but they also have a $200 a year Erewhon membership. This is true. This is my friends. My friends are like hipsters. They're like, let's do it, baby. Do you have the membership? Yeah. Your New York friends will come as a joke, but they will come before they hit the LACMA, and their money is just as real. The day in which New Yorkers can partake of buffalo cauliflower, $19 a pound, on their own turf is always just upon us, a rumored pop-up away. We are gonna be in New York, Vice President Jason Widener tells me. We are gonna be in New York. Erewhon is one of the phenomena that is ever present if you're tuned in. Or if you're not. Oh yeah, there's a membership. Yeah. Isn't that just a grocery store? Asked a friend who has never lived in LA. A friend who has, lived in LA all her life. This is exactly. Like, people in LA are like, what? No, it is not. And it never has been just a grocery store. It exists within, and has always occupied, a space between commerce and cult. So, you guys, we're back on Erewhon. We're doing a whole LA day. LA is the theme of the day. We're here. We're in it. And we get into this and how this came from a Japanese cult, etc., etc. So, my instinct is to let you guys continue to read this on your own if you would like. And we can jump over to the map and do some general Q&A in opposite order. What do you guys think? Or do you want me to read a little bit more about Erewhon? Yeah, Japanese cult. Yeah. Health thing. It's very fashy. It's very like RFK Jr. coded. Okay. So there is a lot though. If you did a Marxist critique of Erewhon, I think there's a lot to unpack here. I think it's really, really good. I think there's a lot about commodity fetishism in here, right? If you were here when we read chapter 1 of Capital and we talked about the commodity and the mystical powers of the commodity and how labor is alienated from it and all of like the social kind of life that comes from the commodity that we exist in, the world we exist in, and how it is all set up around the idea of the commodity, the perversion of the commodity, right? That is Erewhon. Erewhon is a great case study in that. This is an excellent example of what a commodity is, what commodity fetishism is, how workers are alienated from this process, how it seems just like the value in these things is innate. They just exist. Of course it's value. Of course the value is there. And how, if anything, when labor is taken into account, the labor is used as, the mercantilist does, as a selling point, right? For just this abstract idea of value so that the capitalist can make more money off of it. So I think a lot of this kind of is very interesting to do from a Marxist perspective. I would love to see somebody do that. So I'm going to send you guys this link again. You guys can read it on your own time. If someone wants to write the Marxist critique of Erewhon on the Discord, please let me know. I will read it. This would be a great thing. And in the meantime, we will get heading over to map. So this is, I'm going to pin it. It's very Gwyneth Paltrow goop coded. Oh, I can't pin it, but I just posted it. Somebody write that essay. Finally, my degree is needed. Okay, so I linked it in the chat. A Marxist critique of Erewhon, the grocery store. I think these could be fascinating. The Arcadia article is getting under your skin, Chong the Beast. No, I know. It's really infuriating. I mean, I think the only way to not be mad about it is to understand it in the greater context of information control in the West. So we're going to do a 5-minute kind of Q&A and process on the LA content we've consumed today and what it means. And then we'll spend the last 30 doing the map. So, this is always how propaganda and information control has operated about communism, right? This is always what it is. Communists do something very, very normal. It's vilified in the West. The West does this, but a million times worse. That's considered normalized. And the whole goal of it, right, is to normalize capitalism and otherize communism. So I think that's... Kubashi pinned it. I didn't pin it. Ask Kubashi. So, I think it's like, just to remember, this is how info control works. And I think the thing about the United States is they lost control of the China narrative because a streamer went to China. They lost control of the Palestine narrative. The United States is losing control of the narratives. And I think they're freaked out. I think they're real freaked out. They've lost control of the Iran narrative. The majority of Americans support Iran, not the United States in this war. By Any Means Necessary asks, how has LA responded to fires in LA last year? Is anything we learned? Because listening to this, I wouldn't know climate change has impacted the area. Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the thing about California is that climate change is really adversely affecting us here. We have more fires. They burn hotter, they burn longer, and they burn in areas that traditionally did not get fires in the past. Some element of wildfire is natural in California. Indigenous nations here took this under their kind of control and used to do controlled burns to minimize the actual structural damage caused by it. When white people showed up here, we stopped that process for decades, and it actually made it worse. Climate change has exacerbated it even further. A lot of low-income communities are starting to have to deal with wildfires they never historically had. In Altadena, which is also very close to Arcadia, and Pasadena, these areas we've been talking about with our stories right now, the Pasadena, where the new story about the Erewhon was located, and then Arcadia, where our icon Eileen Wang is being unfairly maligned. Altadena is the area that experienced home fires, and that was an area with the highest rates of black home ownership historically going back in LA, and LA does not have a large black population, so that was very, very, very significant. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The only people doing anything, as far as I can tell, are communists. Communists throughout LA pitched in to help the Altadena fire victims. Not just communists, other groups too. But a lot of communists. And then, of course, we're running our communist candidate for insurance commissioner who wants to abolish private insurance companies. The communists out in California are running a full climate kind of change-based assessment. That's why we're doing the left unity slate with the Green Party because of that. Because climate catastrophe is something that is a working class issue. It is affecting workers in California. But actual power structures, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because the rich can afford to just rebuild their houses if they burn down. So, nothing's really going on. Yeah, South Texas, I'm guessing by the water, Lilith. Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know. I feel like, the United States is freaking out because they're losing control of all the narratives. They maintained a tight control over Israel and Palestine narrative for decades, since it started. And the fact that they lost control of that was a major L to them, right? And then, look, they lost control of the China narrative, like I said. They're terrified they're going to lose control of the Cuba narrative right now. I can tell you that right now. And that's why it's so important we talk about Cuba. We need everybody to understand CANF is AIPAC. They are AIPAC for Cuban slave owners. And that the people in the United States calling themselves Cuban are literally mostly slave owners. Not all of them. Some of them came later. But the ones you hear from the loudest, those are former slave owners. They want to go back and enslave the people on the island. I think also, that's why it's also important for us to shift that narrative. For liberals, one of the most important things that you could do is show that most of the people on the Cuban island are black. And most of the Cuban Americans here yelling the loudest are not. And then when you tell them, yes, those people enslaved the people on the island, they can't help but draw the parallel to American chattel slavery, and they are correct to do so. So these are important things for us to continue to push. We are gaining traction. We are winning. Slowly but surely, we are winning. We are defeating the world's greatest superpower in the narrative, in information, in propaganda, in strategic communications. We won the narrative on Israel and Palestine. That didn't help Palestine. They still suffered immensely. But we won the narrative on China too, and they're freaked out. And, it's what we do when we continue to win. We're going to keep winning. It doesn't take one battle. You can't win one battle, one narrative battle, and expect to be able to enact material change on a mass level, right? And we can't predict when we'll be able to do that. We can just make people ready. But all of these wins are adding up to something. They're adding up to people realizing they've been lied to about socialism, about communism, about capitalism, about the evils of imperialism. And we will hit a breaking point where people are like, that's it, enough is enough. Right? Communism is when no vagina candles. Communism is when Commandante Eileen Wang in charge. In the DPRK, if you make vaginal candles, Eileen Wang executes you on the spot. She's not even Korean. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I think it's optimistic. I think we should be optimistic. They're floundering because they're losing control. And we're going to see a lot more of it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be gnarly. People are going to continue to be unfairly maligned. I'm guessing they will get more intense with this shit. It will probably pick up steam more as they desperately try to control the narrative that they cannot. So, yeah, China and North Korea are so evil working together in their communist plot that the DPRK will invite Eileen Wang there as a trusted comrade to execute the vagina candle people personally as a special treat, as a sign of camaraderie between our great communist nations. The goop vagina balls. Okay. All right, everybody. Let's get into the map, shall we? We got our last 28 minutes. You've learned a lot about LA. Let's talk about the map. Somebody's gonna write the Marxist critique of Erewhon. I'm excited for it personally. And today, let's see where we left off. Load, please. All right. We've got map. We are still here in Africa. I don't think anything that we've learned today has changed any of the map positioning. Map. We've got some options. Today, chat, would you like to do Burundi or Tanzania? Should I do a poll? I'll do a poll. Let's do a poll. Why not? Let's do a little poll. I'm putting it in. Oh, Zambia would be interesting. All right. Take a little vote in the poll about where you would like to talk about today. While you vote, I'm going to recap what's going on with the map for anybody who might be new to map segment. For those of you who don't know, we are the campus. We are Marxist-Leninists. We are derisively called campus by our political opponents who are far less charming and knowledgeable about the world than us. That's all they have. They call us campus because they have nothing else. It's sad, really. If you think about it, it's quite sad. I mean, we love being campus. We are camp counselors. We love to camp. We think that the world is divided into camps, whether you like it or not. And those camps we have identified as follows. The evil empire in dark blue and all of our cucked and cuck-maxing nations. Cuck-maxing nations basically allow the evil empire to use their country as a de facto military base. Then we have the resistance in pink, as well as defiant members who are not yet part of the resistance, but stand in opposition to the evil empire. And then, of course, we have the purple areas, which are divided. Some dark purple, so internally by their own conflict, they are not capable of engaging geopolitically in the world stage right now. And some, the light purple, cucked brat. They are cucked. Their hands are tied. They can't really fight back in a meaningful way or speak out too loudly. But they're not happy with what's going on, and they will throw some jabs in every now and then when they can. So, then we also have Poland, which we have decided is bad as a value assessment, but they are unique in that we can't tell if they are bad in a cucked way or a bad in their own independent badness that defies all other categories. You know, we're not sure. Poland, derogatory. Yes. And there could be another Poland, derogatory. But right now, Poland is the only Poland at the moment. So, as we go through the news in the future, after this is all filled out, we will continue to update it with changes. A big change happened yesterday. What was our big change yesterday? Honduras, because of Honduras Gate, is now currently like, yes, United States, please turn us into a military base. Haha, we will help you destabilize Latin America. They got cuck-maxed. Honduras went from cuck to cuck-maxed. Right? Yes. Podcast episode on Poland coming soon. That could be interesting. David said no more war. We're not allowed to talk about war for a while. I'm cut off from wars. That's why I think we're going to do something on AI next. That's what I'm thinking. You know? So this is what's going on in Africa. A big battle's going on in Africa right now for influence, obviously, right? Why do you think we're hearing so much about China doing imperialism in Africa? Because we in the West are trying to discredit Russia and China in their influence in Africa. We're trying to make it look evil, even though we're out there literally encouraging Rwanda to do genocide to expand their territory and their reach so we have greater control and influence over Central Africa. All right, Burundi is the winner. Little Burundi. This is a place I don't know much about. What do I think about the assessment that the whole Greenland thing was a big political theater to get NATO members to up their defense spending, but in a woke way? I think that's probably not it. I feel like the United States just actually does want Greenland, and Donald Trump just runs his mouth. That's what I think. But I think Donald Trump was really emboldened by Venezuela. He was like, that was so easy. We could take anything. What else do we want? And I say this as a person who plays a lot of Civ. Sometimes you win a war and you're like, I could win another. And then next thing you know, you're fighting Gilgamesh and you lost all of your city-states. So I think that's what Donald Trump's doing right now. Right now, Donald Trump is fighting Gilgamesh and he lost all of his city-states. War bad. So, you know. Gilgamesh. Yeah, somebody told, that rich guy from the, Estee Lauder inheritance man told Donald Trump it would be a good idea. Or Gandhi nukes you. Gargamel. What's Gargamel? Okay, yeah, so KMN 66648, where can I find news about countries minus U.S. and anti-communist propaganda? FRSO and PSL both have their own news networks. Liberation News is PSL's, FRSO's is just FRSO, they're like blog or paper or something. And those are two large communist parties that both publish news about the world and current events that's pretty good and solid. I think, that's a good recommendation somebody made in the chat. Why is Russia the resistance? Because Russia is maybe the only country besides Iran actually standing up to Western influence in a material way. Russia just sent Cuba oil, violating the blockade, sending them oil anyway. When Donald Trump last tried to take over Venezuela, he failed because Russia sent 2 aircraft carriers to Caracas and was like, not on our watch. So Russia is also fighting Ukraine and NATO expansion in Ukraine. So yeah. That's why Russia, if Donald Trump wanted to take over any country on the planet, ask yourself this: who would stop him? If Donald Trump decided he wanted to take over Cuba tomorrow, what countries would most likely show up to stop that from happening? Really ask yourself, who would be the most likely to do that? And it would be Russia and Iran and China, right? DPRK. Exactly. Russia, China, Iran, DPRK. Yep. Russia fighting alongside Mali. Yep. Wait, the Smurfs? You don't like how they saw the one? Is there only one woman in the Smurfs? Is there just one woman in the Smurfs? Wait. This is fucked. Shut up. This is unironically the funniest thing that's ever happened in our chat. I don't like how the Smurfs solved the woman problem. It's unironically the funniest fucking thing anybody has ever said in here. We moved past that way too quickly. Wow. You only need one. And she's blonde and blue eyed. Wow. Okay, let's get into it today. So we're going to be looking at Burundi. I'm going to pull up the resources we have been using as our jump start for map. We've been looking at the hyper-imperialism report, which is super, super helpful. We've been looking at the NED spending, and we've been looking at the MNNA countries. My charger just fell out of my computer because my walls aren't real. So first things first, Burundi is not on this list of the non-aligned, or like the non-member, rather, nations that are considered strategic allies of NATO. Sorry, charger, she died. So let's see what's going on. Our hyper-imperialism document is still loading. Let's see what happens when we search for Burundi over in the NED reports. All right. Oh no, don't do that. Okay. I got a window and a window. I'm trying to adjust the window for you guys so you can see it better. There we go. Okay. So Burundi, we have spent $500,000 there, which is more than the Central African Republic, which is interesting. So this is our first exposure to info here that I feel like is going to be important. Now, over in Burundi, the nature of the spending, preventing violence and supporting youth during the electoral cycle. So we have election tampering. We have election meddling. We're spending money to get involved in Burundi's elections. So that's a big red flag. We have strengthening good governance, which means we're trying to do color revolutions. To improve governance and encourage greater accountability by women parliamentarians and elected officials. Okay, so we're doing some lib shit here. Help train women officials to respond to citizen demands. So there's probably a woman there that I would guess that we're trying to back for a color revolution attempt, if I had to guess. Fostering youth digital engagement. They're trying to get teenagers and young people on the internet to talk about wanting to overthrow their government, is what I would guess based on that. Promoting democratic values. They're trying to tell them that their country actually is bad government, bad democracy, overthrow it. So this makes it look like the United States wants to overthrow the government of Burundi to me. This is what I am inferring from this document, what we're looking at here. Now let's look at the hyper-imperialism document. All right, so Burundi currently has one U.S. military base, and they were a Belgian colony. They gained their independence in 1962. There has been U.S. military intervention there as well. And they did not vote in the Gaza ceasefire, and they abstained from voting in the Russia withdrawal, which tells me that maybe Russia has been involved there as well. So taking this all into account, I'm going to guess before we look at the news that Russia has been aggressively courting Burundi and built a pretty strong relationship with them, but that the U.S. is actively trying to destabilize it and overthrow whatever government there is responding favorably to Russia, and that they're keeping their options open. That's what I would guess. Yeah, the Belgians don't get enough hate for their bullshit. See, I've been on this with Portugal lately. So let's see what's going on with Burundi in the news. This is my estimate. Okay, Rwanda has malicious intentions toward Burundi. Now remember, Rwanda on our chart, cuckmaxed. That's the base of operations for the United States expanding our influence in Central Africa. So that's basically the United States saying they have malicious intentions towards Burundi. There's a mystery illness, military base blast. UN warns tensions between DRC, Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi remain acute 3 weeks ago. And they're supposed to hold presidential elections on May 3rd of next year. That's from 3 days ago. All right. Today's top news from 2025. That's from 6 months ago. Let's see what they've got going on with Russia. From Russia, and we came to Russia from Africa. They stuck him in a military truck. Huh, okay. They're trying to... Okay, this is from 2023. They've got a Burundi and Russia agreement on nuclear cooperation. Ukraine warns of sanctions after ambassadors from Chad, Guinea, and Burundi visit Crimea. Okay, so this is kind of what I was guessing then is happening. Let's see what's up with Israel, though, because the Gaza ceasefire thing was interesting to me. Israeli weapons aid potential genocides in Myanmar and Burundi. UN Security Council to deploy... Oh, that was 2016 now. UN police forces in Burundi. Okay, so we've got some info here. So let's get into it and see if what we guessed was true. The Burundian current African Union president defends his country's position against accusations from Rwanda that it is fueling sub-regional tensions by sending troops to support the Congolese army. No. Archive. So Rwanda, again, basically a U.S. military base in the region. Yes. I do know about the searching. That's going to load. We'll see what happens. And then this story is from last month, and it says Burundi says 13 killed and dozens injured in a military-based blast. Oh, but that was due to a short circuit. Okay, so that's less relevant to us. UN warns tensions between the DRC, Rwanda, and Burundi may remain acute. This is relevant to us. This is from 2 months ago. Top UN officials on Wednesday warned that tensions in the Great Lakes region between the DRC, Rwanda, and Burundi remain acute. Speaking at a Security Council meeting, they said humanitarian and security situations have worsened to a worrisome level despite intensified diplomatic initiatives. The risk of a slide into regional confrontation remains tangible. And again, looking at the map, Rwanda and DRC here, right? Basically taken over by the United States at this point. To use as a base of operation, USA kind of looking the other way, while Rwanda commits ethnic cleansing and attempts to expand its influence and reach into the DRC because that would benefit the United States. The continued erosion of trust between actors in the region explains, in part, the ongoing divide between political commitments and the reality on the ground. The warning came as a new memorandum of understanding was signed in Switzerland between Kinshasa and the AFC M23 armed movement for the implementation of truce monitoring in the east of the country. A framework agreement was signed in Doha last year and validated in December. The rebel coalition has seized large swaths of territory in the eastern DRC since the start of 2025, so that's here. It has taken key cities including Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, and Bukavu. Okay, so let's see what else. The presidential elections are coming up. President Evariste Ndayishimiye has led the small landlocked East African country of 15 million, taking over following the death of longtime leader Pierre Nkurunziza in 2020. Burundi is one of Africa's poorest countries and seeing years of internal conflict and repression. The new leader has sought to lessen the influence of powerful generals while maintaining a firm grip on the country. The 57-year-old was named in April as the candidate for his ruling party and is widely viewed as the favorite to win. In a joint statement, members of the opposition said the commission, in its composition and conduct, is not capable of organizing an election that meets the required standards of transparency and fairness. So that feels like that's U.S.-backed opposition based on our spending, I would guess. The opposition says this: we know that the United States is showing up there spending money on electoral cycles and democracy. That's what that feels like, pretty obviously to me. So they're trying to probably steal the election, is my guess there. Today's top news: DRC and Burundi occupied Palestinian territory, and this, I believe, if I remember correctly, was from within the past 6 months. This is December, yes, 6 months ago. Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher has allocated $13.5 million from the UN Central Emergency Response Fund to address the worsening humanitarian toll of displacement driven by the conflict in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which has led to an outflow of refugees into Burundi. $10 million to support the provision of immediate life-saving assistance in the DRC, with $3.5 million bolstering urgent response efforts in Burundi. Since early December, escalating armed conflict in the DRC's South Kivu province has resulted in the population movement of an estimated 500,000 people, with families sheltering in public spaces and overcrowded sites, or with overstretched host communities. In Burundi, 85,000 new arrivals, including Congolese refugees and Burundian returnees, have further strained an already fragile system, with border points and transit centers operating at almost double their capacity. In both contexts, people are facing acute shortages of food, water, shelter protection services, and healthcare amid heightened risks of disease outbreak. Okay, so that's what's going on there. And in 2023, going back in time, Burundi and Russia had an agreement on nuclear cooperation. So the Republic of Burundi and Russia have signed a memorandum on cooperation on peaceful uses of nuclear technology. It is signed as the Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Forum, takes place in St. Petersburg. So Rosatom said the agreement allows projects including assisting in the establishment and improvement of Burundi's nuclear infrastructure, legal regulation, nuclear and radiation safety. Okay, so the current president, that the opposition groups, this is what's going on then. The current president of Burundi has been there since 2020. And he has been working with Russia to develop infrastructure in Burundi. Okay? The United States, through the National Endowment for Democracy, has been funneling money into election tampering and democracy efforts in the region. The opposition party set to run against him next year is saying he's too corrupt and these aren't going to be fair and proper elections, which is what we typically see in color revolution attempts leading up. So it's safe to assume they are being funded through National Endowment for Democracy money for the election, because we know they were spending money on the election. So it seems like the United States is trying to run candidates that are more explicitly pro-West and anti-Russia in Burundi, especially because the U.S.-backed Rwanda, which is basically a military proxy site for the U.S. government, is currently doing this expansionist genocidal project throughout the region, and it is also affecting the people in Burundi. So this is what's going on for our update. And I think that this is really, really relevant to why the United States is spending all this money there, right? So this is also from December. This is talking about the Russia-Africa partnership. And now, going back a year ago, Ukraine was basically warning to sanction Burundi because they visited Crimea, which we all know in 2014 asked to be let into Russia to escape the ethnic cleansing that Crimeans were experiencing in the new Ukrainian post-Western coup-backed government. So Ukraine's foreign ministry strongly condemned the recent visit by ambassadors from Chad, Guinea, and Burundi to Russian-occupied Crimea. I don't know why they're calling it Russian-occupied Crimea. Crimea did a referendum. They asked to leave. They asked to go join Russia. It's Russia. Calling it a blatant violation of international law and Ukraine's sovereignty. That's not Ukraine anymore. In an official statement, the ministry identified the envoys as Joseph Nkurunziza of Burundi, and then we have somebody from Guinea and Chad as well, all currently serving as their country's ambassadors to Russia. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine strongly condemns the illegal visits to temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine, the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, the statement read. According to Ukraine's diplomats, the visits breach multiple international norms, including UN General Assembly Resolution 68262 on Ukraine's territorial integrity. That's not Ukraine anymore. Such actions contradict universally recognized principles of respect for state sovereignty and territorial integrity. That is not your state or territory. Kiev accused Russia of continuing to use foreign diplomats for propaganda purposes, attempting to create a false perception of international recognition for its illegal annexation of the Crimean Peninsula. Again, over 90% of people in Crimea wanted this. We call on foreign diplomats to strictly adhere to international law, blah, blah, blah. It is Russia. I don't know why people are trying to pretend it's not Russia. This is crazy. Okay, so absolutely psychotic. So, meanwhile, Israeli advisors are said to have helped train Congo forces to retake a city. Blackwater founder Eric Prince sent contractors to fight for Uvira on the Burundi border amid war between DRC and Rwanda-backed rebels. So, this, though, doesn't actually have to do with Burundi. This is just happening on the border. So my guess is that maybe Burundi opted to abstain from a vote on Gaza because Israel is currently running operations on their border and they are a relatively small country. This would be my guess. Based on this. This is my running joke. Like my average Joe kind of understanding of what like I would do in this situation. I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm not going to upset Israel if I don't have the power to fight Israel. So Israeli weapons were aiding potential genocides in Myanmar and in Burundi. So this is from January 2016 though. So this is 10 years ago. Throughout its history, Israel has been a dependable weapons supplier to pariah regimes from apartheid South Africa and South Sudan to Rwanda and Serbia. Now we can add Myanmar and Burundi to the list. Now remember, the new current president, he's only been there since 2020. So this was before his time. So let's see where we get out of Myanmar, Burma, and into Burundi. Israeli arms sales to the African nation of Burundi have also continued despite the country's recent descent into violence. An Israeli human rights lawyer dedicated to exposing Israel's weapon exports to abusive regimes wrote a letter last month urging Israel's defense minister to halt the weapons flow to Burundi. Israel has been involved in events in Burundi for years. In the vicious civil war of the 1990s, Israeli both trained forces and supplied weapons. From 1993 to 2005, Burundi was engulfed in a civil war that killed an estimated 300,000 people. After the war ended, defense exports to Burundi continued and included weapons, training, and electronics equipment. A July report by Amnesty International documented the use of Israeli-made tear gas grenades and water cannons by Burundi police on demonstrations where unarmed protesters, including women and children, were shot at and dozens were killed. Protests erupted in Burundi early last year after the then president sought a third term in office. The political situation has since devolved into horrific acts of violence, with both government and opposition forces committing atrocities against suspected adversaries. All right, so the U.S. suspended military training and assistance to Burundi, and both the U.S. and European Union have imposed sanctions against Burundian officials. So again, though, current Burundi president, yes, so he has been there since June of 2020. Who came before him? Sorry. And he was in office from 2005 to 2020. So, and he died in 2020. All right, so this isn't really relevant to the current president. But in the past, historically, Israel has been involved with them. Now, this article is from 2016 as well. This is about the UN involvement. All right, and this is our new article that just loaded. It does not work without the paywall. All right. Sorry, I sneezed. So the last thing I'm going to want to look up here before we make a value assessment about this, but I think I know which way it's going, is I want to look up to see if Black Agenda Report has anything about them. That seems interesting to me. How's it go to? Smooth. Okay. There are search results. But it's a lot in 2016 when there was a lot happening there, obviously. Let's see if we've got anything from 2026. Anything after 2020 would actually be useful for us in this context. So, Rwanda's 30-year assault on the Congo, the crimes, the criminals, and the cover-up. Oh yeah, here. That's the only mention, so that doesn't really help us with Burundi either. We should also look at Burundi and China. It's a lot about Rwanda. And we have this story. Long-standing partnership with China, between Burundi and China. Burundi TV chief hails shared values for Chinese New Year. CCCC wins major infrastructure projects in Burundi over Arab contractors. All right. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. My assessment of what's going on there is kind of exactly what we thought from the beginning. I think that they are probably defiant. I think that the majority of their strategic alliances are currently with Russia and with China, and that the United States is currently running a smear campaign against their current leadership and investing money in trying to overthrow them in the next election with opposition parties through National Endowment for Democracy funding. Does anybody have any objections to this positioning on our camp map for Burundi? I'm not sure how long they're going to hold out. There's so little down there. Are you guys on board with Defiant? It's pretty interesting how you can look at the spending and the positioning and kind of predict what's going to occur there. Right? I'm very interested to see what happens in their election next year. You know? So they're sanctioned. We're like, no, they're not sanctioned yet. Ukraine has threatened to sanction them because of the Russia thing. To find it seems reasonable. That's what I think as well. All right. Well, it's 11:59 for me, which means perfect timing to save the current update of the map. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to today's stream before we go? I know, yeah, they're so tiny, they're kind of at the mercy of the world powers no matter what. Yeah, but then look at how tiny Rwanda is, and we use that as an output for such violence. The map makes you feel psychic? I mean, really, you're like, I see what's going on in the world. I know how things will end. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's a very useful tool. I love map, personally. Okay, was it fun today? All right, we learned about LA. I'm waiting for the Marxist critique of Erewhon. We love Eileen Wang. Free Eileen Wang. Free Eileen. And Burundi. Burundi Defiant. Yes. How many of the previous streams have been for the map? So we did 3 streams totally dedicated to filling out a ton of the map. And now we're doing 1 country every day for the remainder of the world. How is Kenya not cuck maxing? What did we do with Kenya? Did we just say, oh my God, nobody look at me while I look at the map. Nobody look at me while I try to do geography. Ignore me. I found it. We have them as cucked brat because they have been speaking out a little bit lately. That's what it is. Gift for tomorrow, nukes and maps. I'm very excited. Yeah, Kenya is increasing their relationship with China, which is annoying the West. So they're still cucked, but they're a cucked brat. They're like, we're doing things with China. Why now? You know? You know, Red Bread 6, that's fair. That's the fairest critique of the map, I think. That it is unnecessarily cruel to cucks. For Weapons Wednesday. Nuke map. What? Whoa. Nuke map? I'm so excited for tomorrow, guys. Detonate. I should find the Erewhon. Where's the Erewhon? The Erewhon's here. A yield? Oh. Largest USSR bomb designed. Detonate. If they nuke the Erewhon, I'm dead. Fork's so mad. You're right to be mad. Thank God Barstow's okay. San Bernardino. I don't know. It could go either way. I'm literally in the fireball right now. I'm in moderate blast damage. Most residential buildings collapse. Injuries are universal. Not Downey. Downey doesn't deserve that. Ugh, brutal. Arcadia, real fucked. This is our queen, Eileen Wang. This is the Erewhon. And this little triangle is me. So do with that what you will. Thank God Barstow's okay. Turn on radioactive fallout. Where do I do that? Oh, shit. Fuck. Where's it? Wait, how does that go? Where's the radioactive fallout go? What's this do? Oh, the wind. This is the wind. Okay. Which way is the wind pattern? Wait, I feel like it's not really showing me. I don't know how to use radioactive fallout. Nuke Poland with Sarbo. This is for tomorrow. Tomorrow. Alright, PR1. It's been real. Okay, I'm sending you to Larry for Juche Tuesday. I hope you all learned so much about the DPRK. I hope you learned things you could teach me about the DPRK while I coordinate shipping for my regular job. Yay! I did order a new necklace design last week that's coming soon, so that's exciting. Okay, bye everybody. As always, it's been delightful. And I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Because then I can maybe go to Festival de Avante or China and show you all, like we did with Cuba. Would be fun. Would be fun. Okay, I'm sending you. Okay.